Yo, welcome to Better Self Podcast, your boy Frank Rice. And today is actually a special day because it's actually my first time to really go live. But the good thing about today, we actually gonna have interesting, conversation today. It's gonna be regarding Nubo. Like you guys never heard it before. It's actually something about the lifestyle and about how to marry yourself to your commitment as well. So as a guest today, I actually have two guests with me. I have Jill, right? She's just here, and I also have Treat Brown as well. So before we start, I just want them to introduce themselves. I know you guys been waiting for this live. The best way for them is to actually do themselves as well. I just want you guys to introduce yourselves so the audience just gonna know who you guys are. All right, let's go.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having us. I'm Jill with New You Cooking, and New You is all about a plant-based lifestyle, and super excited to be here and can't wait to get started.
Great, Trey, you can actually speak.
I appreciate it, man. The platform as well. My name is Threat Brown, and I am the founder of a brand called To Jab, and the abbreviations of Jab is This Is Just a Body, and I primarily focus on body movement and more calisthenic ways to work out versus dealing with weights and things of that nature. So that's my spiel about what this is.
All right, let's go. So, as I say, thank you again for you guys. I know that there's a lot of people actually joining right now. So, if you feel free to actually post any comment, if you have any question during the conversation, feel free to do it, and we're always gonna respond to you as well. So, to start first, today we're gonna talk about Nubo, right? Nubo. A lot of people actually not haven't heard from it. I just want you guys to tell me first where the idea come from and the name as well, the meaning. What's the story about Nubo?
Well, you can go ahead
So,
and answer that, Threat.
so with me, basically, I've been doing my thing for a while now. I've been a big fanatic about strength and conditioning, and strength and conditioning has been an important part of my lifestyle. I believe in body movement, and the commitment that I made with myself to stay physically fit and
Yeah,
to keep myself obtained in a space where I don't allow myself to get too far out of shape to where I just lose sense of my strength and my condition, and my health, and right and stuff.
yeah.
So Jill covers a lot of things when it comes to the health and wellness aspect of things. And
Okay.
so we've been talking and communicating with each other. We've been trying to figure out like what's the best aspect. And so we've always talked about like business marriages and how do you combine businesses and how do you put things in perspectives. And one day we was looking up a word and we came across a word called Nubo. And originally it was New You, This Is Just a Body. And so we was like, okay, what is Nubo? What is a new body bow? When it makes sense. And so we actually Googled the word, and the word it's a Latin word for marriage or wedded or to combine and unite. So the
Yeah.
actual words exactly what we've been searching for a few years now.
Okay, so it's actually like the word that you've been searching for. What I can remember, I think you guys actually added from a different area, right? I think you have like because you guys come from like a different, sector. I think Josh is more like into, nutrition, and you are more into like, mindset, and you work a lot with the community as well. So it's actually a mix of three things, right? Can you actually tell me exactly what those things are?
You want to chime in on that part, Jill?
Yeah, so Nubo is all about the balance of your mind, body, spirit, and financial. So when all three of those things are in alignment, then your finances will also be in alignment. So everything really is about our mindset. Our
Yeah.
mind is the biggest tool that we have. And when we're able to really have the focus to decide and commit to doing something, then everything is going to come into play. So Nubo really encompasses the three pillars of mind, body, and spirit.
Great. So
Yeah.
yeah, and it's actually good to know. So what is the whole purpose of it? Because I know like you guys created, I think Gio, you come from like as I say, you come from like a nutrition area, and Etret, you come from another area as well. So what type of people are you guys were looking for? Because I know people actually listen to us today. The purpose, they just want to know what is the movement about, where do you guys want to go? You know, what it take for them to kind of like join the whole movement, you know?
All right. So one of the things that I've realized a long time ago is that a lot of people complain about.
I think it's breaking. I cannot hear.
Yeah.
For a second. So a lot of people, a lot of people complain a lot of the times about staying physically fit. We'll make a lot of excuses on why we don't work out or why we're not able to go to the gym. And so me personally, I believe in calisthenics a long time ago. Being able to sit in your living room is one of the things that I bring to the table. So I like to eliminate the excuses that a person would have to stay physically active. Like we
Yeah.
learned that it's not about a gym membership. It's not about going to a gym and getting a coach and things of that nature. It's about literally moving your body. And how do you do that from the center space of your home, from your garage, in your backyard, on your front porch, sitting in a chair? Literally are ways that people could position themselves to stay more physically active. And I'm a firm believer of a conditioned body's conditioned mind. The more you move your body, the mind is actively in a space to project and give you the quality of things that you need. And so I was a poor eater. I got real bad eating habits. Or I would say I had poor bad eating habits. I would eat
Yeah.
anything at any given moment or any given hour of the day. Chocolate cakes in the middle of the morning, like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm just feasting on things. And I feel like I was able to do those things because I was physically fit. A lot of people say genetics, but a lot of the times that's not the bigger piece to a person's physical physique. You know, the hard work that people put in and stuff. So what a person would get from me in body movement is cut the excuses. There's no excuse when we can really get something going in your living room. And I'm able to show a person how to do that. And when I met Jill, the whole play on words is new you. So how do I create a new me? Right. And then so I started to understand Jill's philosophy on, you know, what we put in our bodies makes
Yeah.
a larger difference. And so I wanted to try that out. And so I tapped into Jill and she started telling me things about Master Cleanse and that was my journey to become more plant-based and, you know, than food.
Okay, so I think for what I can see here, you guys trying to like make sure like people actually have a better lifestyle. People have to be focused because there's one thing you guys actually mentioned. It was something related to marriage. You have to actually you have to marry to your commitment. I think that was the word. All right.
Right.
So I mean,
Yeah.
when I first
So,
heard, I thought it was more like relationship, but I don't think it's actually anything about relationship. Yeah, go
no,
ahead. Yeah.
it's the relationship that you have with food and the relationship that you have with yourself. Because if we look at a marriage, and in a marriage we do premarital counseling. We're committed to our significant other, and
Hmm.
we're really looking for our ideal husband or our ideal wife. And so we're so committed to that person that a lot of times who goes to the wayside? We do, because we're so committed to other people. So Nubo really is about getting committed to yourself and getting committed to living your optimal lifestyle. And so often we hear, you can be of service to other people when your cup is full. Well, let's make sure that our cups are always going to be full.
Hmm.
And when we have good health, we're going to have good wealth and a good life. And really, it comes down to just being super committed to what does it take. And that's why it's a commitment of your mind, body, spirit, and your finances.
Yeah. I
Everything is
Can
think.
I,
about balance.
Yeah,
can
go
I
on. Yeah,
add
you
to
can.
that too?
Yeah, sure, sure, sure.
Yeah.
You can. Go.
Because and what I've learned is like when I changed my eating habit, I felt better. You know, I know a lot of people that talk about eating differently and plant-based and vegan and vegetarians and all of these different ways of doing it. And that becomes frustrating. That was a frustrating thing to me. That's why I never tried to understand what is a better eating habit, because I come from a traditional way of you can eat whatever you want to eat as long as you're willing to put the work in after the fact of consuming. But if you start to substitute the negativity things that we consume, like the sweets, a lot of people, seriously, it doesn't matter who you are, what walk of life you in. You need to really start cutting out the sweets and start eliminating these things. And we get these sugar cravings, and people don't realize that there's substance in fruit that we can eat. What are those fruits? And trying to research and find all of these different things is complex and it's stressful. But like me sitting with Jill, she makes it more obtainable. She makes it more clear because you can get an item list of things that are like literally, I was like, I didn't even really know that sugar cravings can be curbed from grapes. I mean, we hear it, but it can literally be curbed from grapes and things. So people with certain side effects or disorders or, diseasements, they feel that they can't overcome these barriers of the sweet tooth by just focusing on fruits and things. But, I've learned that it's very possible. And without both of these, health and wellness and strength and conditioning, you can never be at your optimal state. You have to marry these both elements into your lifestyle to become a better version of yourself. You can't just do one. You got to balance and fit both of them into your lifestyles and take them more serious in the commitment aspect. So marry that lifestyle and marry those goals that you put together. And like when me and Jill talk about, well, what are goals? Most people don't know how to put together a goal, So for people who don't know how to goal set, with meal prepping and planning and putting yourself together, I lean a lot towards Jill for those things, and I know how to put together a workout regimen, and I focus on those spaces, and we make it more feasible for people to be able to obtain these things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it actually makes sense because at the end of the day, like a lot of people, they have like goals, they want to achieve something, but we all have goals, but sometimes we don't know how to stick to our goals. So it's like now the year is about to finish. Everybody going to set up like a new year resolution as well. But it's like you want it, but you just don't know. You don't have that guidance how to kind of like stick to whatever you actually want to do. Just for people to remember when they're actually talking about the marriage as well, is the same way when you're actually in a relationship, you have to commit to your partner. The same things you can do, the same thing you cannot do as well. And this is pretty much what you guys actually focusing on. I think so. Which one is the area? Because I know like there's a financial part as well. There is I think you have to be financial the commitment with financial commitment. You have a mindset. You have a spirituality as well. All right. So this is the area that you guys think like this is what is needed for somebody to kind of like become the better version of themselves. Is that? Can you hear me?
Yeah. So basically, what do you mean about the financial?
Because I think the step here, there's like a financial commitment, right? And there's a mindset commitment as well. And you actually have a spiritual commitment. This is what actually I see on your page.
Right. Yeah. So it's the commitment of, all of those things, because all of them are going to really create your optimal life. If all of those are in balance, then everything in life works better. So it's all about structure. Most of us work best with having structures. So with Nubo 3, we are creating the structures for people to be in alignment with what are your goals for your mind, for your body, for your spirit, and for your finances. And so it's our mission to make this platform have easy, accessible information that's fun and interactive, and that's for all people, right? So it's like we are creating tools and resources that are going to be for every walk of life, for every age bracket, because it's really important that we all understand and have the concepts that we have, for success, that we need to have better resources for every person.
I want to add to that too. And we hear that these things go hand in hand. Finances, health, wellness.
Yeah.
There's the big phrase, health is wealth. Your wealth is based off of your health. What is the purpose of living a healthy lifestyle or wanting to pursue financial riches or financial stability or financial freedom if you don't have the physical means to truly enjoy these things? People got this big idea of, I want to make this much money or I want to accomplish this many financial goals. And I've learned that in my last year of just changing my diet more so, I changed my diet and more financial revenue have come my way through my programs, through my opportunities, through the relationships that I have. I found more healthier relationships with my finances by switching the way that I eat. Because again, we start doing these scientific breakdowns. The certain foods that we eat, it clouds our perspectives. That whole brain fog space is because of the things that a lot of people are eating and a lot of the toxins that people are drinking. It clouds our vision. That's why when you look at most healthy people or most financially wealthy people, These people take good care of themselves for the most part. You know, they eat right, they work out right, they get up and do cardio in the morning before they start their days. They go to sleep at legitimate times at their times. You know, so we want people to be more secure in a well-rounded aspect. So that's why we tie finances in there. You know, it's like again, when we say health is wealth, you know, those two things has to make sense. And what person on the face of this planet doesn't realize that if your finances are not in space, you're always in shambles. You can't even budget or balance right because you don't know how to structure, organize. And not to be long-winded, but I've learned that when I say this is just a body is not just a physical form. A body is based off of your finances. A body is based off of the different elements that you put together in your meal planning. A body is the hours that you punch in work, or the homework that you have to do, or the contracts. There's a body of papers that create all of your. So when you can learn to control your physical form, and you can work out, like when I asked my youth, I talked to Jill about this a while ago. When I asked my young people, what's the worst part of your body that you hate to work out? A lot of them say my legs or my core. I say, but do you do it? And they say, well, yeah, I do it. So what's your struggling aspect in school? They would say science or math. I say, so if you got the mentality to get through a leg and a core workout, that personality, that mindset you have to crunch through that and push through that, apply that same mindset to your homework. Apply that same determination to commit and complete whatever your assignments are. And a lot of the young people, they do. So when they do a math problem or do math or science homework, they're thinking of a squat or a core exercise. And that personality trait is what they tie in it to make it more successful. So health and wellness is the marriage that people really need to tap into, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I think like what you're trying to say, if I can, for what I can actually understand, is like a lot of people they want to become better, but the thing about becoming better, you need to have all those aspects of your life, because most of us, we only focus on one side. You just want to be good at your work or whatever work that you do, and then you're actually gonna feel empty or unstable sometime because you don't know really how to look after your money. You work hard, you get the money, but you don't know how to look after it. Or your body. I know a lot of people that have a lot of money, but they're actually not in a good shape as well. So what is actually the requirement, like, of people to kind of like join the movement, So do you guys have any specific type of people, or, what is your way of actually getting in touch with people? Is it more online, or I know you guys do a lot of things in a community as well. So how does it work?
Well, right now it's really focused on an online platform. That way we can reach a wide variety of people all over the world, because everybody needs this. So we are having an online platform, and the best way to check it out right now is through our website, and that is www.nubo3.com. So it's NUBO3, the number.com. And in that, go ahead and subscribe to our newsletter and let us know that you're interested. And the actual challenge and first program starts January 1st. So right in alignment with the new year, and everybody, always wants to get their New Year's resolutions and everything like that. So let's go ahead and let's get it together. And you have, us to guide you and really provide some dynamic tools. And really, it's about diving deep. So we want people who are super committed and really ready to make change, because change starts with your own self, and it's the commitment. So in my business, a New You Cooking, I always say DCD, New You. So DCD means decide, commit, and do. So first we decide what is our goal, right? Yeah. So we decide, and then we commit. So in the commitment phase, we figure out, what do we have to do? So do we have to hire somebody? What tools do we need? We really figure out the nitty-gritty of how we're going to accomplish that goal. And then the do is simply do it. So DCD is kind of like the mindset, right? So it's really, honestly, it's for all people. It's online. That way, like I said, we can reach so many more people. And check it out, www.nubo3.com.
And I want to
Yeah.
add, I want to add to that too before you say
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And so the aspect of strength and conditioning, right? I'm
Yeah.
doing a 90-day phase, right? I'm gonna be literally working out on Zoom 5 days of the week, starting in January. And when I say working out on Zoom, I'm talking about literally just body workout.
Yeah.
This is not nothing strenuous. And this is for people who always make an excuse. This is
Yeah.
for people who always find a reason on why they want to commit to these things. And like when Jill say, everybody in the world said, be mindful of the words that you choose because words are powerful. But nobody consume that. Nobody eat that truth of that. When they hear decide, they be like, okay, decide. No, decide. What does it mean to decide something? When we're deciding to do something, that's like a true understanding of what are we doing. And then the committing component. What does it mean to commit? That's all in. There's no distractions. You can't even create an excuse on why you're not going to follow through with the do. What is doing? Doing is not, it's the polar opposite of stop. It's the polar opposite of standstill. It's the actual activity of completing or following through with something. So how do you, so I'm calling mine Zoom camp. So Zoom camps is chiming in at the times that I work out. It's working out at 5:30 in the morning. We meditate from 5:30 to 5:45. And then from 5:45 to 6 o'clock, we stretching. And then from 6 o'clock to 6:30, we're doing complete body workouts, 5 downs, 10 downs, 15s. We got a whole 30-day calendar for the whole piece. And so it's like, who wants to participate with that? So when a person see that all you got to really do is literally use your physical form to get started, and that's not a complicated space. So for people that want to challenge themselves, it's like challenge yourself to the simplicity of something. We're not going to get complex. I'm not going to turn you loose into a gym and you see all of this equipment. And that's what sidetracks people. They see all of this equipment. They don't know where to start. You're going to start with some squats, some crunches, some push-ups, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
The step like, go on. Yeah,
I just wanted to add, to that is, the strength and conditioning piece of it is at your own, it's using your own body weight, and it's for all people. Like, you can do these type of exercises in a chair if you needed to, right? And so it's like, we're really making this for, like I keep saying, all people, because it really is for everybody. And, before we even start the physical activity part of it, there's other requirements that are going to take place, because like I had mentioned before, is like, before we get married, what is it recommended to do? To take premarital counseling.
Yeah.
So Threat and I literally are like your premarital counselors into your lifestyle. So we are having, you've got to do your goal setting. You've got to figure out what is your equation to help power you through in those times that you feel defeat. So there's steps that are going to take place to prepare you for the phase of strength and conditioning. And then we also, as far as like the health and wellness piece of that, we're talking about, what is your relationship with food? Figuring out, what does that look like? Having these conversations that are vulnerable, because let's face it, when we're vulnerable and authentic, we can have breakthroughs.
Yeah.
And having a breakthrough is breaking down the barriers of what you've created within yourself. So it's digging deep and being transparent, being authentic, because when you're in that committed phase, you're going to do what it takes. So we're talking about, so many different aspects of strength and conditioning, nutrition, health and wellness, and literally marrying them into the next phase of the program.
I think I wanted to add something. You know what? The good thing about it, I know a lot of people been going to this kind of program where you actually have to lose weight like in 2 months or 3 months. And a lot of people drop a lot of weight after 3 months. But the problem is to actually keep looking the same. They drop the
Mhm.
weight after 3 months, they just go back to zero as well because it was just like a lot of hard work for 3 months, and after that, you just like stop. So what you guys are doing is quite different because it's kind of like a lifestyle. It's something like you have to adapt with yourself, with your way of being. I don't know if I'm right. Is it
Right.
that?
Yeah.
So can I say something real quick?
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
sure. You
So
can. Yeah.
what me and Jill we was just talking about this earlier this morning. One of the biggest things that I like to substitute motivation for inspiration.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's one of the most impactful and most powerfulest things that the average person can do. And I'm not talking about everybody, I'm talking about the average person. You know, if you was able to substitute the motivation concept for inspirational aspects, and what that looks like is that in motivation, people thrive on motivation because it helps empower them, or they feel committed because they got something in their ear saying, you can do this, let's get up. And you got somebody pushing you and cheerleaders on the side. But what do you do when the cheerleaders are gone? And what do you do when the person's not in your ear drilling you to be at your best space? You know, a lot of people tap out, they give up, they venture off. So
Mm.
going through these processes of the marital aspect, like you say, knowing your goals, knowing what you want to do, and then we teach you how to become inspired. Jill inspired me. Jill doesn't motivate me. I don't need Jill to motivate me. Jill inspired me because I watch her. I watch what she do. I watch how committed she is.
Yes,
I
she
watch
is.
how she's committed to doing what she say. And so when she's doing everything that aligns with her optimal self, I'm inspired to say, well, damn, I want to be at my optimal space with my optimal self. So she doesn't have to come and tell me. She's got to keep doing what she's doing because I got a goal. I know what I want to execute. So when I'm inspired by somebody that are accomplishing their goals, when, you know, me and Jill, not to be throwing you under the bus, but we've spoken briefly in this last year time of just her being independent in her own space of as an entrepreneur. She's
Yeah.
touched financial goals in her own personal life that's polar opposite than what it was in the beginning. And so when I see that and we can talk numbers, that lets me know that, well, hell, I'm on the right space because I'm associating with the right people. Again, I'm inspired. I don't need Jill to wake up every morning and say, hey, Threader, you know, because I know that Jill's up every morning doing what she has to do. So I'm like, yeah, let me keep doing what I'm doing. And once I get to that space, then, and when anybody gets to that space of self-confidence,
Yeah.
Mhm.
self-awareness, because now they know their physical goals. They want to lose X amount of weight. I can't help you lose weight. Jill can't help nobody lose weight. They got to know that they want to, and they got to drive, like you say, they decide to, they commit, and they do it. And my whole equation thing is authority equals spirit times command plus conviction. So how do you gain authority over your physical body? Is by becoming 100% spiritual and command your body to complete these things through a conviction. So these aspects is what I need for myself, and I don't need anything else but to be inspired by other people that I see champion themselves. Jill says she want to do something. I'm like, damn, she did that. I've been wanting to do this, so let me do it. And so we want to inspire people.
Mhm.
Okay, as you heard, guys, you know, if you guys want to be part of the movement, you know, you can actually go to the website, and most of you guys are already friend with Jill and Tret as well. If you have any question while we're actually having a conversation, if you have any question you want to ask, you know, regarding Nubo, anything, this is the time you actually can post the, you know, on a comment, and then we can actually answer all the questions as well. So, I'm very like happy. I mean, you two actually inspire me a lot. You know, like I know Tret and actually introduced me to Jill as well. And you guys, every time I see you guys posting stuff, like I can see the growth every single day on, you know, what you guys are actually doing. So the big goal is actually to start it where you are, and you actually want to bring international as well. That's what you guys tell me
Mhm.
earlier, right? That's the
Right.
bigger vision, if I'm actually right.
Absolutely.
So the
Well,
focus right now,
worldwide.
is it more like young people or just like anybody? It's just like, doesn't matter who they are, right? As long as you are committed to make yourself better, make your life better, right?
Yeah, anyone can do this. You know, it's literally for all people. So Joe has a question.
Yeah, she have a question
Um,
here. She's saying like, how are the meal designed? So I don't
so
know what you guys say about that.
basically, Joe, the meals are so within Nubo, there's a couple of different packages that you're able to choose from in regards to you know, if you just want strength and conditioning, if you just want meal plan, or if you want the total package. So the meals are, so within that, there's specific meals. The meals are designed, you know, for a caloric intake.
Mm.
And definitely, it's a wide variety of different things. And also, I want to clarify something else, because a lot of people, know that, you know, well, anyways, so they are plant-based meals. And so plant-based, there's a major difference between plant-based and vegan. So our plant-based meals do encompass meat products.
Yeah.
They do not include dairy. And it is like, so it's vegetables, fruits, grains, meat, and no processed foods, and no dairy. So that's basically what a whole foods plant-based diet is all about. So that's kind of how they're designed.
And I
Uh,
want
yeah,
to
go
add
on.
something to that too. And so is Joe. His name's Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's basically like saying, Joe, if you show the interest to be a part of this whole process of what's going on, then you will be able to sit down with Jill. And this is what I've done. I've sat
Mm.
down with Jill, and Jill helped me identify certain things that I wanted to accomplish. So what are
Yeah.
my goal sets? It's hard to just tell you what to do because don't nobody know what it is that you're struggling with. Nobody
That's
knows
right.
your condition. And so that whole 30-minute free consultation thing, I'm gonna throw that out there real quick. That whole conversation, take advantage of that. Don't just inquire. There's been people come and the first thing they say is, so how much is it? And I've learned from Jill earlier is that if you ask them, the first thing the person asks is how much does it cost, then 9 times 10 that person is not truly committed to it. Because
Yeah.
if you ask them the price of how much something costs, you're not even asking, what do I need to do? I think that that's the first and most important part that needs to take place. Let's figure out where you're at, first of all. You know what I'm saying? And then once we figure out where we're at and you find some solutions that could benefit you, then it makes the offset of whatever the price may be more conducive and beneficial to people. And then in this marital thing, when we talk about marrying your lifestyle, you can go and ask a person, how much money have you spent in trying to get the girl that you want? Or how much money have you spent trying to get the man that you want? Or trying to impress her? You take her out to dinner, you buy her gifts, you take him out to dinner, you spoil him with these things. You know, people do everything from buying you cars to expensive jewelry, take you on extravagant vacations. And then when it comes to how much are you willing to invest into yourself? And people find these complexities about this and that. And it's like, that's mind blowing to me. It's mind blowing. It's like we are literally financially sacrifice to
Yeah.
appeal to the next person, but won't even invest. So it's a difference between financially sacrificing versus investing into what would benefit us. And so that's why we say, if you talk to both me and Jill, yeah, you can get everything that we're talking about in Nubo from Jill because Jill works out. She works
Yeah.
out every day. She eat healthy every day. You know, so, but when you combine these whole aspects to get the best of both worlds, then we want to create your lifestyle. So it's more of, what are your life goals? What do you want to do physically? What do you want to do mentally? And what do you want to do spiritually? And then it puts you in a space to where now we can talk about what meals look like and what a workout plan look like for you.
Just want to add one thing as well. You know, when things go wrong in life in terms of health, when you eat bad, something go wrong, when a doctor tell you like this is how you have to do, you feel like you have to force yourself. But a lot of people change their lifestyle just when things go wrong. When they give you that bad news, you just change everything. You don't think about the money anymore because you're like, oh, you
Right.
know, I need to
At
fix
all.
something. I feel
Yeah.
like the mindset is today is to kind of like think about those things before it's actually too late. If you
Yeah,
feel like
preventative.
it's worth for you to actually invest yourself on your health, on your on many
Mhm.
things, you know, aspect of your life. It's actually good. And what you guys doing as well, the design when it comes to the food and the process is not the same for everybody, right? It just depends on people's goals. Just to be
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah. I mean, we give a baseline, a meal plan of, hey, these are the items that we suggest. And
Yeah.
then we give you ideas, different recipes. There's a whole packet of information that we provide as one of the tools.
And yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
one
so
question I think maybe people might think about this one as well. I know you are more based on the plant-based, right? So what about the people who are not vegetarian? I'm not vegetarian, right? I want to include more green on my food. I eat healthy, but I'm not vegetarian. For those people, can I find them? Can you actually, are you able to help them as well? Or you only
yeah, we
focus on
help
the people who are
everybody.
vegetarian? Okay, everybody. That's
I
good.
I personally just, transitioned from being vegan for, over 20 years
Yeah.
to adding meat into my diet because of a health situation where I have to change everything about my lifestyle.
Yeah.
So we have recipes and we have meal plans that have meat. We just stay away from dairy because dairy causes a lot of inflammation, and it's causes mucus and so much nasty stuff that there's so many alternatives to dairy that we really show you how to make these switches. Also, in the program, it's also about quality versus quantity. So we also give you resources for the quality meat products in your area versus going to the supermarket and buying the cheapest meat available, because the reality of that is the cheaper the food costs, the less quality it is. So, Phone just like what you were mentioning before, we're preventing things, right?
Yeah.
So doing this program is preventing health conditions and obesity later down the line, and it's getting those things in check right now, and spending a little bit more money in our food. It will make a big difference. And we also show you tools and resources and tips and tricks to stay within your budget, because everybody's on a budget. You know what I mean? So eating healthy does not have to be expensive. It's only expensive when you get the convenience foods. If you get all your vegetables pre-chopped, that's going to cost you more money. And so I teach you different ways to save time in the kitchen. And like I said, there's a whole bank of recipes and meal plans that really fit your specific needs.
And there's a question here for Rach as well. So, I mean, he's asking actually if in the process of, the program, are you guys working together? That's why you're actually saying here, typical work with both of you as a duo throughout a program. So that's why he's asking if you guys can actually answer that.
Yeah. So RJ, great question. So yes, people will have access to both Threat and I, and we will be working in unison together. Like Threat is going to be more in charge of the strength and conditioning workouts, but I will be there as well. And I'll, be doing my, interjection with meditation and mindset. But Threat is the one that's in charge of the strength and conditioning piece of that. And I'm, health and wellness. And yes, we will work together. And then you will have options to do, one-on-one coaching and consulting with either one of us. So you get to choose, but yes, we will be working hand in hand with each other through this process.
And I want to add too, also on the podcast. So we got a podcast that we launching as well. And the podcast is Nubo 3 Podcast. It's on Anchor and any Spotify or Apple devices. And so through that space, again, there's more resources and more information, because we're not saying that we're the gurus of anything that we're saying. But I know that the guru aspect of us can be providers to the people that want to know more. There's a lot of powerful people that we know in our relationships and our walks of life. Jill done traveled and met a lot of beneficial people that has extreme enlightenment on a variety of different things. There's a lot of side effects and health issues that people have, and we have people that'll be able to entertain that situation. I'm not a strength and conditioning coach per se, but I know how to condition myself through calisthenics and body workout. I know how to move the body. And just to be blank, I served 4 years in prison and I've learned how to mastermind my structure off of calisthenics. I didn't lift weights. I didn't go bench press and do all these other things. I literally used body weight to get myself to the physical form that I'm at. But I have a plethora of so many different people that are certified. One person being yourself, bro. You're a coach. You know how to train. You know how to enlighten people, and you know how to give people tips on things that they need to do. One of the things that we want to be able to do is create the platforms to where if I can't create a calendar for you, I know somebody that can help you create a calendar. And if you really want to create a calendar, let's focus on what different elements of working out. You got different types of crunches and ab workouts, different type of lunges and leg workouts. Which one do you do this week? Which one do you do next week? Let's create a 30-day calendar, but you got to decide to do it, commit, and follow through it. You get what I'm saying? So this is the importance of it. That's like, there's no excuses that we would allow anybody to have if they want to interact. A person could, like I say, join me on a Zoom meeting starting January 1st. In the morning, if you got it in you to get up and do a quick workout, that's the starting point. You know, the workouts that we're talking about doing in the intermission in the beginning stages, these workouts won't take you no more than 15 to 20 minutes to complete. I mean, what is the complaint? 15 to 20-minute workouts just to build the habit of getting the body into a movement piece, and then the confidence to start to secure in that space. And then listening to Jill. So now that you're moving the body, what's the next thing you should do? Let's start curbing those sweets. What are you eating that you know you shouldn't be eating? And to answer a question that you have brought up a little bit earlier, there's going to be those people that say, well, I'm a vegan. I've been eating plants my whole life. Well, that works for you. Well, I drink milk. I eat this. I'm not. Well, that works for you. Who are you? Jill just told me this morning, listening to your body, what relationships we have with foods. I'll eat something, bro. Look, me meeting Jill, I would go and eat something. I'll be like, dang, my stomach hurt. But I don't put 2 and 2 together that it's hurting because of what I just ate. And then I turn right back around the next day and eat the same thing. But now that I know that my body and food is communicating, that's not good for me. So sitting down with Jill, she helped me understand. So when do you feel the most bloated? Or when do you feel like you're most crampish? And then it's like, okay, well, bam. So eliminate those things. What are the substitutes and additives? That's the relationship. That's the space that we're creating for people that want to do something. This is not for anybody that ain't committed to doing anything. This is an opportunity for people that have that epiphany to say, I want to be inspired. I'm tired of being motivated. So sit down with Nubo 3. So Nubo is 3, mind, body, and spirit. Health and wealth, it all ties into together. I hope that all makes sense. And if it didn't, double back everybody and just watch this whole video again, and we're going to make a lot of sense.
All right, we're going to finish soon anyway. I mean, we have another question here. I think it's something that you already spoke about, but I just want to be sure, like, you know, you give the right answer to Joe as well. I think she was asking about the whole process with the meal, if it's actually around one person or need, or it's just like for everybody. I think you can actually read the question.
So so Joe and Threat, this is big, by the way.
Okay.
You weren't sure who was.
I like the question though, you know.
So
you make it sound like, I mean, at the start, I think people was getting a bit confused because they thought like it was just one strategy, or it was just like people focused on the meal, on the, like a vegetarian meal type of prep. So it's good.
So the meal plan is, you can, what I was saying before is there's like an a la carte menu in the Nubo 3 platform. So you are able to get individual consulting, one-on-one consulting with me. And in that space, we really dive super deep into what are your needs? What are your roadblocks? Let's figure out more deep, what is your relationship with food and how to implement change. And so it's kind of a mix, right? So within the platform, we have individual needs with that one-on-one consulting. Then we have a bank of recipes and meal plans for people to choose from. So it really encompasses everything, honestly. It really does.
And could I add to that?
Sure.
Of course.
You know I like to add to stuff. I like adding. And so to Joe. So Joe, the biggest thing I feel like where we're at right now, what we're doing, so honestly, what we're doing is for us. This isn't for nobody else. This is literally for us. Literally. It's like whether people want to be honorable to themselves and clear to themselves, it really doesn't matter. And this is the personality that I feel like everybody should have. It doesn't matter what anybody want to do or not want to do. If you want to be part of the Do It Club, then this is what's happening, right? Because there's a lot of things that I can say to a person and say, well, what are you eating that you know damn well you shouldn't be eating? And once we start there, then, so now we realize that even with myself, you know, talking with you, I'll be a bratty kid, and everybody that has to change, they become bratty kids. Everybody becomes a bratty. Well, I don't want to do that. Well, you don't want to do anything then. So taking yourself serious. So what is the change in the diet? It's literally saying cut out the sweets, the cookies, and the cakes and start eating more vegetables and celery. If you start doing that, you'll start to see optimal changes in your life, period. It's not about the diet format. It's not about the consumption of all of these different things. Cut the sweets out and eat more vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
You'll start to see differences in your body frame. You'll start to see differences in your oxygen, the way that you breathe, the air that you take. Drink more water. Cut out the sodas and the juices.
Yep.
So this is stuff that people already know. People know this, but again, nobody's deciding to do better. Nobody's committing to do better, and nobody is doing better. We just allow these things to constantly take place, take form, and take shape, and we'll sit back and wonder why there's no results and wonder why the fog is still there. Stress comes from a lot of the things that we're eating.
Mm-hmm. And not
We
only
can say that, but right. You can tell a person that, they be like, well, I ain't trying to hear all that. Well, it does. So curb that. Drink more water, move more, walk more. These are simple things that people can just do. You don't even need us for that.
Right.
But if you need somebody to be consistent with you, then you need to join onto a space, because we're not hand holding people. We're just creating something that you can follow. This is the marriage. Me and Jill married health and wellness with strength and conditioning. The best relationship that anybody could possibly ever have on the face of the planet. Health and wellness, strength and conditioning. What you eat and how you move. These are the power sources to a person's wealth, health, and happiness.
That's right.
Okay.
And one last thing. Their kids. People complain about budgeting. Like Jill said earlier, it's not expensive when you know how to maximize your finances. But you don't know how to maximize your finances because as soon as you get money, you spend it on junk. So your brain's thinking junk, so you utilize your finances for junk. But when you realize that there's other ways, then you'll maximize your budget and you start to invest into yourself. Your kids will eat with literally whatever you put in the refrigerator. Instead of chips and cookies, if you got celeries and carrots, they're literally going to eat what's in there.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. And to speak on, the youth aspect, so many kids are lost with their nutrition because their parents are lost. And the way that we eat and the way that we think about food is passed down from generation to generation. So a lot of times, the way that you're eating right now is the way that you were raised. And it's like, you don't know until you know. And that's why uncovering what is your relationship with food is a huge aspect of how to create lasting change. This is not about a diet. This is about a lifestyle. So if you want your children to live a healthy, prosperous, joyful life, it starts with you. And you, as the parent, your kids are going to model what you're doing. So you've got to be better. We all have to be better. And we can. It just takes that mindset of that we want to be better. And this is the platform. This is the platform for you to do it. And like Threat said before, at the end of the day, like, this is what Threat and I are about. This is what we're doing. So we're just opening this up for you all to join as well, because our mission is to positively impact every single life and move, touch, and inspire every person that we come in contact with. So get on board with Nubo 3.
Before we wrap it up, actually, I just want to make sure, like, I know this is actually the new program, the new project that you guys just started is actually fresh. Like, for you guys who are here, this is actually the first time for them to kind of openly talk about it. So is everything set up already, or is it like you just still working on that? Like, I know, like, the website I'm actually putting out there for anybody actually want to check. Is everything ready, or you still on the process? Just to make sure.
Okay. So what I would say right now, the website is ready for people to go and drop their subscription. We start the email log first. That's your first sign of a commitment. If you seriously want to be a part of something, then tap into the website. Go to the website. It's active and live. Go down to the subscribe, the newsletter. Sign into that. We start to get your email addresses, and then we would start to structure information around leaking the information to you. The podcast is live. this is one of our first interviews that we're doing with you. And so now we're seeking out people that want to be guests on the podcast. Me and Jill will be doing some of our talking points between now and the 1st of January. We're building an archives for people to come through on our social media platforms, which is our Facebook and our Instagram. People are able to come to the social media, the Facebook and Instagram, and the thing that you will see on there right now is our website. But as we move forward from this point now, moving forward, you'll be able to interact, share your personal thoughts, share your personal life goals. What is the idea of something that you want to create? And be inspirational to other people about the changes that you want to make for yourself. You know, that's one of the biggest things that people could do. Be vulnerable. Nobody's trying to be vulnerable. Nobody's trying to be there. Everybody want to be secretive about their changes that they want to make with themselves. But you'll realize that when you become vulnerable, a lot of people could be inspired more so for themselves, you know, by the vulnerability. And so those things are active. So for anybody that's tapped in right now, if you are a specialist, then it's important for you to log in, send us an email saying that you specialize in what, and what would you like to talk about on the podcast, so we can start airing that out and start putting this content and information out for people. But in the meantime, those are the things that are readily available. And if a person shows a strong interest to being a part of what we start to do in this coming new year, then yeah, this is what's happening right now. And and we just inspire. Follow us on our social media so we can hear the inspirational content that we share. We talk a lot, we go live a lot. That's where it starts at. We're talking, the conversation is already being had.
Yeah.
We're verbalizing everything that we're going to do and what we aim to do and complete. So stick with it and just become a part of the process.
All right. So don't be shy. If you're interested, make sure like you actually tap in. There's a website there. If you want to do anything, make sure you get in touch with them as well. There will be a podcast. You guys actually can keep up with them as well. And there's one aspect that we didn't touch. I know we talk about the nutrition part, the fitness part. I think there is the spiritual part as well. Like I just want to say a little word about it, just so people actually in that side. So just so can actually know something about it.
I'm gonna say one thing.
What is it really about?
It's not one thing. It's one piece of thing.
One piece of thing, yes, good.
So
I know when you start, you always like a lot of things, but
the thing about the spiritual aspect from my standpoint is that that's the working element. Yeah. That's the driving force. So that thought that people have, man, I want to get in shape. Man, I want to eat better. That's the spiritual component. That's who you must become. You have to become that. You can't allow that to continue to be a thought that you have. And you cannot no longer allow that to be a feeling that you have. You have to identify as that element. Once you can, and once we allow us to help you understand how to identify yourself as that element, that drive, that's where your inspiration is. And that's who you become and stuff. So we can get deeper into that, and we should at some point. But to find out more about what it means, that's the spiritual element. You have to become the driving force and stop being the person that, oh, I got a pretty good spirit. No, become that spirit that you say that you have, and life will change for you. This energy, so adapt to the energy that surrounds you.
That's right.
Totally. Great. So yeah. Anything you guys want to add, something that you feel like we haven't really talk about? I know a lot of people ask a lot of questions here. I think we did answer all the question here. I don't have any other question. So anything you guys want people to know before we actually wrap it up, just like your last word?
I want to say thank you so much for everybody that has been interactive in this podcast and interview, and everyone that has tuned in and, just here listening. And it really means a lot. Threat and I definitely want to, again, move, touch, and inspire as many people as we possibly can. And going into 2023, we all are greatness, and let's all, shine and live our optimal life and make this happen,
And my last thing that I want to say is, cut the complaining out, man. Stop complaining. Seriously. Again, we're not doing this. We're literally not doing this for nobody. What me and Jill is doing is we're literally deciding to marry a lifestyle that we see for ourselves. There's things that Jill wants in her life. There's things that I want, and we're marrying those things in honor, commitment, and vowing to it. If you choose to do that, then let's all collectively marry what we say we want for ourselves. And once we can do that, then we set the trend of differences for our children, for our community. Now, when we finish talking, people are going to be inspired or motivated, should I say. People are going to be motivated to be like, that makes sense. But when the motivation stops, when you don't hear our voices as much, then you go right back into your normal ways. Let's stop that. Let's stop creating excuses and let's start to put the action plan for yourself together. What do you need? What do you want? Let's goal orientate that and follow through with it. That's my spiel.
Great. So it's really nice to have you guys. Jill, you want to say something else before we go? Oh,
Nope, I was just agreeing with Rhett.
Okay.
I
All
agree
of
with
it.
both of y'all.
yeah, I mean,
I agree
like,
with it all.
it's actually my pleasure to have you guys here, man. I appreciate you guys. Really inspire me a lot. You
Thank
know, I've been see like, Trey, I know him for quite. I think it's like since COVID, right? I think we did the fourth
Yeah.
podcast together, and yeah, and Jill, she's a nice person as well. You guys really inspire me. Whatever you guys do, really inspire me. I'm very pleased and happy, thankful to have you guys actually on my show. And just so people know, if you guys are interested, make sure you go to the website. Don't be shy. You can actually send them a DM as well. And we're gonna have this kind of conversation a little bit more as well. So are you guys planning to have any other conversation regarding this? Because I know this was just like introduction. I'm sure like you guys
Follow
gonna
the
go into more
podcast.
details. So yeah,
Yep.
great.
Link to our podcast and follow through with the podcast. We got more videos and podcasts and more interviews on podcasts with a plethora of different information. And you will be one of our guests on there to share with people what you know.
Great. So I'm very happy and blessed to have you guys today. So thank you guys again for being part of this episode. And then again, I'll see you guys next time for many other episodes as well. All right. Thank you again.
Thank you,
guys.
bro.
Thank you so much,
And,
everyone.
yeah, see you next time,
Yeah.
man.